Hello, Natasha.
Hello, Stuart.
And welcome to Deadline's Red Sea International Film Festival Studios. Great to see you here.
Welcome to you. Have you been here before?
First time. And you?
Oh, yeah. First time, I think, but anything could have happened.
So we think it's the first time. And you're here, you're speaking at the lab session.
Am I?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Okay, it's
Yes.
going to be good. It's going to be good. It's interesting thinking about like what you do in front of camera, behind camera, but also when we talk about the lab, you've really embraced technology and how we can use technology in filmmaking, specifically AI tools.
I'm not sure embrace is the right word so much
Okay.
as braced. I was aware of it, I guess maybe. In writing Russian Doll, I sort of got into all this sort of quantum physics and futurism and all this stuff. So, the second season was actually codenamed Black Gumball, which is Nick Bostrom's term for the existential threat posed by AI. So I've been aware of it for some time and was, I guess, trying to safeguard some kind of copyright protections for artists, which seems to still be a big battle, friends.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then it's interesting, isn't it? You touched upon it there because when we think about AI and Hollywood or the international film and TV business, there's kind of a range of opinion from kind of existential horror / threat all the way through to unprecedented opportunity. And I wonder how we kind of find the right place along that spectrum.
I think we should, to quote Joe Strummer, the future is unwritten. So I think it's worth remembering that we need kind of hope and new ideas, and to remember that we're kind of the architects of this moment, and how we all choose to show up for each other is really key. Jaron Lanier has that article. It says, there is no AI, meaning AI is so deeply embedded in everything as a layer of tech and runs across so many different things that the way we use it as tools in its various sort of sandboxes is, incumbent on us as leaders to figure out for a new era.
I guess the interesting thing is the pace of change is so incredibly rapid. Has there ever been a technology that has moved at such a pace, and there's now talk of artificial general intelligence, and we're here talking about...
I think a lot of this stuff is just sort of, it's imaginary. So I don't think it's necessarily that useful for us to stay in the Sturm-und-Drang chaos of the acceleration and the AGI and it's coming. I think we do well to focus on the moment that we're in and sort of, like filmmaker to filmmaker, artist to artist, what can we do about the practical applications of this tool and how to kind of individually guardrail, black box, credit IP where it's due, compensation, retraining, all these kinds of more practical things rather than getting caught in a Silicon Valley delusion around, IPOs and mystery and, quantum computing and, it's, very gonzo stuff.
So let's...
Lord knows I love it, but like in a Russian Doll writer's room, you know what I mean, kind of way.
Let's stay in the moment then and think about, because I think you've got a movie...
Climate, data centers, energy prices are going to skyrocket. So I think, chips are going to be like the number one, environmental, what should I call it, like a plastic bottle, bad news. So I'm just saying that there's a lot to really focus on in the short term that I think is really key that we stay very human about.
And then bringing all the way back, that's a fantastic kind of to hear your thoughts there, but to kind of the world of film. So Uncanny Valley, that will be, you use AI tools with that movie to make it real? How?
So at Asteria we have...
Sure. Your AI studio.
Yeah, film studio. It's a bunch of us and a great group of filmmakers and engineers, and so we have the first underlying copyright protected clean model in Mary that the Moon Valley engineers made. So there's data and attributions. People get paid for their work, and then we can black box. So with a storyboard artist and production designer, cinematographer, kind of sit there and really organize and design a shot, and then realize it, but in a sort of safe way,
Okay.
and such that it becomes more of like a VFX tool or set extension or something like that. Unfortunately, I think that there's been a lot of lifting of state law and copyright law and so forth that's made it really dicey, for the wider world. So I'm sort of less concerned in the moment with someone like me or Asteria, and I think that I'm more concerned with the 90% and what's going to happen if we don't kind of focus up and all sort of like join forces together in an effort to kind of take care of one another.
And then, but then specifically with is Uncanny Valley, does that happen? Are you in pre-production? Is that something that happens in 26? Curious to hear a bit more about that one.
I think that we've just been, when you're not generating on Midjourney, it takes longer basically.
Right.
Because it's really, a team of artists in there, and we're looking at every image and kind of dialing it in. So we'll see. I mean, it's going to take the time it takes. I think most movies are like, everything I've always done is always sort of like a 5-year span of like from inception to sort of the touch and go cycle of a cast coming together with budget at just the right moment. All of a sudden you're making it, then you're in post marketing. It usually seems to be more like a 5-year cycle lifespan. So I've learned to kind of take each day in stride.
And it's interesting to think, Natasha, that you kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's kind of fair to say you grew up in the business.
Oh yeah, I'm what they call a lifer.
But
I'm a marathon man. Yes.
And then when we hear you talk, you've got the studio, you've talked about, but you're also kind of, did that teach you about the business of the business, if that makes sense?
To quote Shirley Temple, I'm just kidding. To quote Bugsy Malone. I grew up in this business, and so it's I guess it's just I really care more than anything. Like, I care about like Teamsters. I'm from New York, so it's kind of a big deal to us. I really, really care. And I guess over the years I've sort of cared less about my personal career in a way, and more about like looking at sort of structures or ideas in a way, or how to kind of like break new ground or democratize sort of tools or whatever it is. I think Russian Doll was like the first all-female writers' room. I don't like stuff like, we don't care about Me Too or DEI anymore. I get very stressed when we discover civil rights during COVID, that kind of a thing. It's not, we already discovered that Black Lives Matter a long time ago. So I think that the entire kind of infrastructure is inherently connected to each other, because when we don't care about individual human beings and feel like we can take away their rights so easily, something very kooky happens globally, with regards to things like copyright law, fair use, all these different types of things. And so I guess more than anything, that's been, my experience is I'm sort of in my pay it forward era. Okay. I get the idea. I have big curly hair and talk funny,
Let me ask you, that's fantastic, thank you. Let me ask you about a particular show. You might guess where I'm going with this one, but I need to ask you, our editor Mike Fleming had an amazing story last week about Poker Face. It kind of sent the
internet. Oh, you went really? I thought you were going to go to a deep dive. Oh, no, you're talking about Dinklage, the greatest Charlie Cale of all Charlie Cales.
Yeah,
I love Dinklage. I love Ryan, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. I could pop back up. It's
you could.
I think it's just more of a, I really need a few years. If I don't make a movie before I die, I'll be very bummed out. So let me just get one feature in the can, and we'll see.
You're okay to kind of let the character go? It's going to be in these 2-year cycles?
Nobody lets anything. It's all, you can ban books, but that story lives on in the mind. So it actually didn't go anywhere. Charlie Cale is here with us for always, It's all one big movie, baby.
But you're going to, you would still be involved. You would still exec it.
Oh yeah, I'm still producing it.
You're still making it.
I'm very close with Ryan, and I love Poker Face. I just would like to do just a couple of movies for a second, and maybe I'll see you again back on the road.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Natasha, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Pleasure
you
to
so
have
much.
You here.
All right.